have been discussing about Greek philosophy, and we had discussed Pythagoras, whose RK has been number, and those who are keen can go through the previous lectures. Today we are continuing with the Pythagorean number theory vis-a-vis the aesthetic form of style, which is the paintings called the Thangka paintings. Now, Thangka paintings are one such domain where number is considered sacred and number plays a pivotal role. And this is why today's lecture is on the Pythagorean number theory vis-a-vis the Thangka paintings. This is Dr. Ananya Barua, Associate Professor in the Department of Philosophy, Hindu College. Now, the making of a Thangka painting, which is Thangka, is a deeply spiritual, disciplined and ritualistic process that involves not just artistic skill but also meditative focus and often religious devotion. Further, if we talk about the Thangka painting, we have to see the procedure of painting a Thangka. Now, the process of painting a Thangka is ritualized and systematic, usually following these steps. Number 1, preparing the canvas. A piece of cotton or silk is stretched tightly covered over a wooden frame. It is coated with a mixture of chalk and glue, then sanded smooth to make a suitable painting surface. A sacred grid called measuring diagram is drawn based on strict proportional rules passed down through generations. And when I talk about proportions, ratio, measuring diagram, let us remember the importance of the Pythagorean's number as RK that permeates through these such paintings. Number 2 is the sketching the deity or mandala. The deity or figure is first outlined in pencil or charcoal. The proportions must adhere to canonical texts like the Mandala Measurement Manual. Nothing is drawn freely. Every element has symbolic and spiritual significance. Number 3, applying paint. Natural mineral pigments are traditionally used like malachite for green, cinnabar for red, lapis lazuli for blue, gold powder for highlights. Paint is mixed with animal glue and water. Painting is done layer by layer, starting with background and moving to details. Number 4, line work and gold work. Intricate lines, faces and sacred ornaments are added with ultra-fine brushes. Highlights and borders are adorned with gold leaf or powder. Number 5, consecration, which is the opening the eyes. The final and most sacred act of the painting of the Thangka is painting the eyes of the deity is done in a ceremony by a lama or the artists in prayer. This is called opening the eyes and is considered to awaken the image as a sacred presence. Usually the time taken for a small Thangka, say about 30 into 40 centimeter, is 1 to 2 months. Medium Thangka, 3 to 6 months, and large or highly detailed Thangka like the Kalachakra Mandala or Life of Buddha, it can take over a year or more. Time depends on complexity, pigments, number of figures, gold detailing and ceremonial days of rest. Further, the other question that often picks up is, do Thangka painters have special powers? Not in a magical sense, but many are monastically trained, undergo years of apprenticeship and follow ritual purity. Some believe skilled Thangka artists carry the merit, punya, of past lives. They often chant mantras or meditate while painting, making the act devotional. The painter is seen more as a channel for divine energy than a mere artist. Now, the other question that should be striking all of us right now is, are Thangkas painted only on auspicious days? Yes, traditional painters often begin on auspicious lunar days, especially full moon, Purnima, New Year festivals, Losar, Buddha Jayanti. Some avoid painting on inauspicious days like eclipses or no moon Amavasya. Rituals may also be performed before painting certain sacred figures, example the Rothfoot deities like Mahakala. Now in Vajrayana Buddhism, creating a Thangka is not just art. It is a spiritual journey. The painter must cultivate patience, shanti, mindfulness, smriti, compassion, karuna. Each brush stroke is like a mantra, aligning the mind with the universe. So we see that the Thangka paintings of Tibetan Buddhist tradition and the idea of Pythagorean's sacred number synchronization converge in a deeply symbolic and philosophical way. To unpack this connection, we must look at the structure, purpose, and cosmological intent of Thangka paintings and how numerical symbolism or sacred numerology is used to synchronize the inner and outer worlds, the microcosm and the macrocosm. Now, what are Thangka paintings? Let's come to the basic. Thangka paintings are Tibetan scroll paintings typically depicting Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, mandalas, cosmic diagrams, lineage masters, or narratives from the Jataka tales. They are not merely artworks but are visual scriptures intended for meditation, ritual, and spiritual teaching. Each Thangka is constructed according to precise iconographic rules and mathematical proportions. Again, a gentle reminder of the influence of Pythagoras' number as sacred can be seen here. And this is where sacred numbers does become crucial. Now, sacred numbers synchronization refers to the intentional use of numerical patterns such as 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 12, 108 and so on to align spiritual truths with cosmic order. These numbers appear consistently in mandala geometry, mantras, example 108 repetitions, architectural layouts like stupas, bodhisattva symbolism, example the eightfold path, four noble truths, the chakra system, for example the 7 chakras. So in Thangka paintings, these numbers are used not just for visual symmetry but for cosmic correspondence, that is, to make the painting a resonant field for meditative attunement and metaphysical understanding. Now, if we are to see the day-to-day life of a Thangka painter in the traditional practice, we will see that their morning ritual begins from sometime around 5 a.m. where they wake up before sunrise, bathe and perform basic cleansing and purification rituals. They offer incense and butter lamps to the altar. They recite mantras, often the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, and dedicate the day's work to all sentient beings. Sometimes they perform short meditation or guru yoga to invoke divine blessings. They begin the work only if the day is astrologically suitable, which they have checked through a lunar calendar or with a monk. They paint in silence or while reciting prayers related to the deity being painted. Focus is meditative, posture upright. Each brush stroke is precise and intentional. Paints are often ground afresh in the morning using stone and pestle. Around lunch and rest time, which is about 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., simple vegetarian food sometimes offers food first to the Buddha image of altar. No painting immediately after meals, their rest and recentering are considered important. Afternoon painting sessions are about around 1:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., where they continue detailed work, often outlines, motifs, or face detailing. If eye opening is to be done, it is postponed until the most auspicious day and time. Gold application, considered highly sacred, is done in this session when concentration is at its best. Evening ritual, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We see clean brushes and they close the painting for the day. They offer thanks, light a lamp, and dedicate merit to all beings. They recite aspiration prayers for the Thangka to be of benefit to future practitioners. Now, if we look at a comparative chart of Thangka, sand mandala, and the Patachitra, we see the aspect, the medium of the Tibetan Thangka, which is cotton, silk, or in canvas mineral paints. The Tibetan sand mandala, it is colored sand, often ground stones or gems, and in Hindu, the Patachitra of the Orissa, we see cloth or dried palm leaf natural dyes. For the aspect of sacred purpose under the Tibetan Thangka, we see meditation, teaching, and ritual use. The Tibetan sand mandala uses ritual visualization and temporary cosmic map, and the Patachitra of Orissa is based on worship, storytelling, especially Jagannath cult. About the preparation in the Tibetan Thangka, canvas is stretched, blessed, and gridded. Tibetan sand mandala, the sand surface made is flat, ritual and consecration. The Patachitra of Orissa, the cloth stiffened with tamarind and chalk. The time to create for Tibetan Thangka takes about weeks to years. Tibetan sand mandala, days to weeks, and Hindu Patachitra, weeks to months. The destruction or the preservation in Tibetan Thangka is preserved for generations. For Tibetan sand mandala, it's destroyed after completion, impermanence. And Hindu Patachitra, preserved, sometimes for temple use. The ritual involvement in Tibetan Thangka begins on auspicious days, especially the eye-opening ceremony is important there. The Tibetan sand mandala, it is created with mantra chanting and destroyed ritually. Hindu, the Patachitra of Odisha, begins with prayer, sacred motifs, and roots. The symbolism in Tibetan Thangka is complex iconography, a spiritual map. Tibetan sand mandala is about cosmic order or impermanence, and Patachitra is mythological senses, devotional narrative. The training of the Tibetan Thangka, the monastic or lineage-based rigorousness is found. In the Tibetan sand mandala, monks trained in tantra and sand art, and Patachitra, we see family lineage of artists, usually the chitrakars. So each of these sacred arts, be it the Tibetan Thangka, the Tibetan sand mandala, or the Hindu Patachitra of Orissa, though regionally and stylistically distinct, is not merely an art form. They are embodied practices of devotion, cosmology, and mindfulness, and number system or proportion is at the base of it. Whether permanent like a Thangka or transient like a sand mandala, they reflect that dharma in form. Now, when we talk about the philosophical signification of the synchronization from microscom to macroscom unity or the bandhu concept, we find, like in the Vedic concept of bandhu or binding correspondence, the synchronization of sacred numbers, again vis-a-vis Pythagoras' arche, in Thangka connects the human experience, microcosm, to the cosmic order macrocosm. For instance, a mandala structured with 4 gates symbolizes the 4 directions, 4 elements, and also the 4 noble truths, aligning personal realization with universal law. Then when we talk about the temporal eternal intersection, sacred numbers like 108, which is usually seen in rosaries or malas, it links finite human practice with the eternal dharma. Thangka painting becomes a timeless portal by aligning human ritual with cosmic rhythms. The practitioner transcends linear time. Further, when we talk about the numerical embodiment of dharma, we find the Eightfold Path, the 12 nidanas or the causal links, or the 3 jewels aren't just lists. They are embodied numerically and visually. Thangka art becomes a didactic, contemplative matrix, a space where one doesn't just read the dharma but experiences it through visual and numerical contemplation. So, we also find that in Thangka paintings, proportional harmony is equivalent to spiritual harmony, and proportion, let us remember, has been a key theme in Pythagoras' number as RK. Every deity in a Thangka is drawn according to specific measurements. Example, the face is often divided into thirds, the body into units proportioned to fingers or hands. This reflects the Platonic or the Pythagorean ideal of cosmos harmony as beauty, order, and virtue. Now, a mandala Thangka, say the mandala of Vajradhatu, often uses circle, which is unity, infinity, wholeness. Square with 4 gates resembles the 4 directions, the 4 elements or stability. The central deity with structuring figures is also all about Eightfold Path, 8 petals of the lotus or the chakra model, and color symmetry is associated with the 5 wisdoms, the 5 dhyani buddhas. So, the synchronization of these elements using number and geometry is not accidental. It is a metaphysical mapping of the path to enlightenment. Now, if we talk about a comparative chart of the Thangka sand mandala and the Patachitra from the Tibetan Buddhism vis-a-vis the Vedic or the Indian thought and the Western philosophy, we find that the mandala or Thangka, the Indian Vedic system, is the yantra, that is a close equivalent of it. Western philosophy, the Platonic solids or sacred geometry. The 3 bodies of Buddha would be the Trikaya doctrine of the Vedic thought and the Neoplatonic triad, the one, nous or mind and soul of the Western philosophy. The 4 directions, the 4 elements of the Tibetan Buddhism can come close to the Chatushkoti logic or the 4 varnas, and for Western philosophy it can be the Empedocles' 4 roots. The 108 beads can be equivalent to the 108 Upanishads, and the Western philosophies, Pythagoreans' numerical mysticism. So, we see that the Thangka paintings are not merely religious illustrations. They are visualizations of cosmic law using sacred number synchronizations to guide the practitioner towards enlightenment. Philosophically, they affirm that truth is structured harmoniously and that number, form, and consciousness are interwoven realities. Now, in contemplating a Thangka, one is not just looking, one is participating in a sacred numerical order, meditating through vision and number towards the realization of the ineffable. Now, there is this painting here which is being displayed. If we can see, we see the use of the circle, which is all about unity and wholeness. We see the 4 doors again, which resembles the 4 noble truths, and the further intricate designs clearly shows how number system has been an essential part in Thangka paintings. Now, the the painting which we had just about shown was the green Tara with the flower of life. As its center is the green Tara, the compassionate savior goddess encircled by the flower of life, a universal geometric form. Crafted with mineral pigments and 24K gold, this Thangka uses circular and floral patterns to mirror cosmic harmony. Now, if we again look at the other painting here, it is the earthy Om mandala. Unlike the previous painting of the goddess Tara, here the Om mandala, within the circle we see the form of triangle, and beneath there again there are the 4 exit doors, which again talks about the 4 noble truths. So one theme is recurrent about the Thangka paintings, where they use number system as their confirmation to the teachings of Buddha here. And this painting is the Om painting of Thangka. And when they're featuring an Om symbol to the center, this mandala embodies unity and sacred sound. It is framed with concentric squares and circles, and it represents the microcosm meeting the macrocosm in meditation. We also have the Kala Chakra mandala, and it is considered an important painting, as we can see from the painting here. The 4 points of gates are painted in a divine iconographic blue tinge, which talks about the access to the akasha or the sky. We again see the picture of the circle here and the square, and then the 4 exit points that talks about the 4 noble truths of Buddha. And the Kala Chakra or the Wheel of Time is one of the most important mandala paintings that is found in under the Thangka paintings, and it is one of the most demanded ones. So the Kala Chakra mandala is a complex depiction of the wheel of time, Kala Chakra, and this Thangka maps temporal and spiritual realms through precise geometric structure, circles, lotus petals, directional gates, and often 108 elements aligning with tantric numerology. We will be discussing more about such mandala or Thangka paintings in our next lecture. Thank you so much.